A long time ago, where children were still children and not naive teabaggers on Call of Duty, there was a gaming channel. No, not that one. They only survived a little under the year before rebranding themselves under the generic title of Pulse TV, but X-League was ahead of its time in most respects. But their choice of doing things left a lot to be desired, which ultimately led to their downfall. After only a week or so of watching Jinx's esport on Sky, finally, the similarities are so tightly woven they will also lead to their own downfall. But I know what you're thinking. A gaming TV channel shouldn't work in this age anyway with all this internet goodness. And you could argue that you would be correct, but here are some of the problems that Jinx has going for it. Let's go with the content first, shall we? And I'll go with a positive. Granted, I'll be doing numerous negatives in this video, but sometimes you have to let them climb before they come crashing fall to a greater height of death. The pre-recorded content is done very expertly with good camera angles, good sound. It's very easy on the eye, and it sort of keeps you hooked to keep watching. But this is when things become a bit problematic for it. One of the episodes I happened to watch was some of the staff and interns playing Forza Motorsport. Awesome racing game. Beautiful to look at. The downside is that none of the staff showed any real emotion while playing the game. They were doing it as a tournament style with just them playing the game, and they were cutting to the different players. Not like 4-player multi-screen or anything like that. Granted, Forza doesn't have split screen, but having them in the same room would have probably helped itself. One particular scene in particular was of one guy crashing into a wall. He did nothing. Said nothing. Camera shows him doing nothing. Completely anticlimactic. You would have thought of an outrageous sort of scenario with a guy screaming his head off, throwing a controller off a wall, like YouTubers. But maybe we've come too desensitized that something like that is just really boring, and it felt more like a scene from 1984 than an actual gaming competition. If you want to talk about actual gameplay skills though, let's talk about the first hour. The clue is in the title, folks. Two presenters play the first hour of a video game. And I'll be nitpicking for this particular bit because, look, I'm a WWE games guy. And both of them were playing absolutely horrendously, atrociously. Neither presenter knowing the controls to the game properly. One guy spamming nothing but strikes and Irish whips. Not really entertaining for me, to say the least, because I'm that sort of player. I'm pretty good, if I do say so myself. Although, them doing forfeits, one of them chewing a tea bag and the other one getting themselves waxed, weren't too bad, and it was pretty funny. The other problem, though, was the content that the first hour is showing. Now, you can quote me on this, at 11 o'clock on a Sunday morning, on their Sky TV channel, the first hour, Shadows of Mordor. No age gate, no warning at the beginning of this episode, although there was a warning about lighting effects, not about the content of the game. Less than 10 minutes into the TV channel, into the show, beheading. One of the orcs gets beheaded. It doesn't matter what it is. And if you don't understand it and you're not British, I'll quote you about the Watershed. The Watershed begins at 9 o'clock at night, and material unsuitable for children should not, in general, be shown before 9 PM or after 5:30 in the morning. A PEGI 18, no matter what gameplay is shown, should not be shown before the Watershed. Even X-League knew not to be that daft when showing off esports games of Call of Duty until an appropriate time. On further inspection of the episode in question, they did cut out a lot of the violent scenes. Anytime there would be blood or anything, they did cut it out, but they missed that vital point of the sword slashing an orc and his head apparently falling to his hand. But either way, Mordor should not be shown in the morning. Talking of esports though, the first time I placed Jinx Sports onto my television, there was an awful whining coming through it. No, I'm not talking about some of the presenters. Okay, that I went a bit too harsh there. Scratch that last joke. They're actually all pretty damn good compared to what other presenters have done on shows over the years. But the audio was so shockingly bad, it could even compare to a 240p live stream on Twitch of similar audio by some guy recording on their iPhone 4. it was that bad. With such good production values, the cameras were shoddy quality, the audio was constantly for 15 minutes of an absolute humming echo reverb that someone was just like in a nightclub just spamming as much dubstep into their lives as possible. It could have been even longer, but I turned it off because I didn't want to commit suicide from audio explosion. The fact that no technician spotted this problem for that length of time is shocking to say the least. Having a gaming TV station on 24 hours is a hard thing to do, and you need a variety of programming, but when you have the same types of show every day and nothing else, it'll be too repetitive, even if it's a different game being shown, like on the first hour. And with it, none of their shows having an artistic edge, either by sense of humour or variety, bar the first hour to an extent, they're not memorable. The top 10 videos are great, but not memorable. It's like whitewashing a room. It does the job, but you don't really notice it. But you notice the feature wall in the room a lot more because it would stand out. But there's nothing of that nature for Jinx. There never has been for years and years. Those in the know would already realise that the first hour has already been cancelled and might not ever return. Why is that? Well, the original episodes were airing on the Sky Channel Challenge. Yes, the quiz show channel with reruns of Takeshi's Castle and Ninja Warrior every 2 hours. The viewership was good, not too shabby if I do say so. However, the company wanted to focus on esports, and esports just doesn't really work on TV that well, because it's an internet phenomenon. Whereas a live stream can get a worldwide audience of millions, a TV channel in the UK will only get thousands, if that, from a national TV audience that might only be about 10 million maximum watching at any one time. And that means all the channels. I don't mean just one channel. You're talking about hundreds of TV channels that the UK has. Jinx doesn't have enough coverage for it to be sustainable. Hell, check their website about their TV channel. Some of the esports coverage is from events that happened 2 years ago and still showing on the esports TV channel today. Talk about having their finger on the pulse. Pun intended. The website is barely updated now as well, with them focusing on the esports. They're not focusing anything on reviews or anything of that nature. Their YouTube channel has not been used in months, and for a TV channel to have less subscribers than my channel is a shocking fact in itself, that they haven't focused on social media, where esports is the catalyst for social media. The TV channel doesn't even do proper adverts, instead showing generic 5-minute montages. So while they could be earning a little bit of money this way with the Churchill and Go Compare adverts, they decide to starve themselves of probably vital cash. Great marketing logic there, folks. X-League did the same sort of thing before their episodes of TV shows showing generic 3-minute, 5-minute montages. It just got repetitive again and again. At least have adverts, you'll get some money out of it. They're even still advertising their Jinx Everywhere app, which despite having no used shows on it, such as the first hour of Video Game Nation, they want you to still sign up and pay a monthly charge of £1 or £2 a month. Not a lot, but if not updating the content, what's the point of advertising it? Now, I've already mentioned that Jinx has been in the UK on TV for a couple of years now, only recently just been put onto Sky. And I myself regularly saw them at conventions such as EGX, doing interviews, mainly for their challenge shows. But now that's gone, and we're stuck to reruns. They've killed themselves before they've even started. Their most popular shows they've cancelled. And why would you cancel your most popular shows? Oh wait, it happened to GamerWeb. It happened to GamerWeb. Their most popular show on Friendly TV got cancelled for quiz TV phone scandal shows. Yes, look it up. So here's some friendly advice, Jinx. Free advice, and this is from a guy with experience. This isn't a work, this isn't like a wrestling promo. I've seen it firsthand, from Game Network to GamerWeb to X-League. All crash and burn. And you will be the same. You need variety. It needs to be regular. You need to have a new show every night of the week that's entertaining. And I mean new, not a rerun. It has to be different, new, entertaining. Get YouTubers with actual experience. Don't have people who have 1 million subscribers plus that aren't professional, that are clueless and are immature, because that won't sustain an audience. Get experience, and you may last longer than X-League. If you don't, you'll be another casualty It's the video game slaughterhouse.